Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
पंचाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधु पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य श्रीदास ठाकुर की जय। Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Shamarasika Devidasi from Germantown, Maryland. Please forgive me for stopping your ecstatic chanting. Today's spiritual quote for holy name is, please note it carefully that you cannot live Krishna consciousness. That is a fact. And even if you want to live, Krishna will not leave you. This is also a fact. This is by Srila Prabhupada. And I welcome all the devotees on the early morning call today. May I know who's in the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all the devotees on this call. This is Geeta from Maryland. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Geeta Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and your wonderful chanting.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all the devotees. This is Surinder Bhandari from Maryland. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and your wonderful chanting.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Malini from Ashburn, Virginia, and Hare Krishna to all devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Malini Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and your wonderful chanting. Anybody else would like to announce their name?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madhavat Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devi Dasi from Orlando, Florida.
Hare Krishna, Rupini Padma Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and opening the call for the chanting Japa. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. This is Premanandini Devidasi from Ashburn, Virginia.
Hare Krishna, Premanandini Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and welcome. Opening the call for Japa session. Hare Krishna. So yes, we have our speaker today. So Hare Krishna, Jai Sri Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Welcome to the call. And we are so fortunate. Our recording has started. Thank you, Manindra Prabhu. We are so fortunate to have Her Grace Jai Sri Mataji from New Vrindavan, and Mataji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagvatam 8.4.11 verse and onward. Hare Krishna Mataji, please take over the call now.
Hare Krishna, good morning, everyone. That was very enthusiastic chanting when I jumped on here. It's nice. Very nice. All right. Could I request everyone to mute so that there's not really competition in what we're hearing?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Astriter Satis Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Astriter Satis Divine Grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kurta Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sri Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Gangamaya Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Prabnandini Mataji, would you like to chant
Yes.
the verse?
Yes, Mataji. I'll read the verse. Shri Shuka Vacha Tada Devarshi Gandharva Brahmoshana Purogamaha Mumuchuha Kusumasaram Shansantah Karmatadhare.
That's the verse?
Yes, Mataji. 8.4.1, right?
8.4.11.
Sorry, Mataji.
No, that's okay. I was trying to figure out why I didn't see what you were saying.
Sorry, Mataji.
11 Mataji, 11.
Okay. श्रीशुकवाच एवं शप्त्वा गतो गस्तग्यो भगवान् नृपसानुगः इन्द्रद्युम्नोऽपि राजर्षिर्दिष्टं तदुपधारयन् आपन्नः कौञ्जरीं योनिम् आत्मस्मृतिविनाशिनीम् हर्यर्चनानुभावेन यद्गजत्वेऽप्यनुस्मृतिः.
Oh, you're very expert. Thank you. Sri Suku Vacha. First, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from the beautiful Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 8, Chapter 4, text number 11 and 12 together. Sri Sukha Vacha, Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Evam, thus, Saptva, after cursing, Gata, left that place, Agastya Muni, Bhagavan, so powerful, Nripa, O king, Sa Anuga, with his associates, Indradumna, King Indradumna, Api also, Rajarshi, although he was a Rajarshi, Dristam, because of past deeds, taught that curse, Upayrayan, considering Apanaha, God, Kunjarim, of an elephant, Yonim, of species, Atmasmriti, remembrance of one's identity, Vinasinim, which destroys Hari, the personality of Godhead, Archana Abu Bhavane, because of worship, Yat that, Gajatva, in the body of an elephant, Api, although, Anusmriti, the opportunity to remember his past devotional service. Translation. Sukadev Goswami continued, My dear king, after Agastya Muni had thus cursed King Indradumna, the Muni left that place along with his disciples. Since the king was a devotee, he accepted Agastya Muni's curse as welcome, because it was the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although in his next life he got the body of an elephant, because of devotional service he remembered how to worship and offered prayers to the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is the unique position of a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although the king was cursed, he welcomed the curse, because a devotee is always aware that nothing can happen without the desire of the Supreme Lord. Although the king was not at fault, Agastya Muni cursed him. And when this happened, the king considered it to be due to his past misdeeds. Tate Nupram Sukha Samanaha. Bhagvatam 10:14-8. Translation of that. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy on him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim.
Bhagavatam class.
This is the practical example of how a devotee thinks. He regards any reverses in life as blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, instead of being agitated by such reverses, he continues his activities in devotional service, and Krishna takes care of him and enables him to be promoted to the spiritual world, back to Godhead. If a devotee has to suffer the reactions of his past misdeeds, the Supreme Lord arranges for him to be given only a token of this reaction, and very soon he is freed from all reactions of material contamination. One should therefore adhere to devotional service, and the Lord himself will very soon see to one's promotion to the spiritual world. A devotee should not be disturbed by unfortunate circumstances, but must continue his regular program depending on the Lord for everything. The word uparayana, considering, is very significant in this verse. The word indicates that a devotee knows what is what. He understands what is happening in material conditional life. Om Agana Timrandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshrun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. We're born in the darkness of ignorance, but our spiritual masters kindly opening our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. So we offer our most humble and respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such spiritual master. So when I was reading this verse and purport, I was thinking of a story that I heard originally from Radhanath Swami called Good Luck, Bad Luck, Who Knows? And it's a story of a man. I've heard different versions of this story, but this is the one I heard from Radhanath Swami. There was a man who had a young son, like a teenage son, and they had horses. And somehow or other, the son left the corral open and the horses went out. And the father was there and he told the son, and the neighbor came and said, "Oh my God, your son left the gate open. That's so bad luck." And the man said, good luck, bad luck, who knows? And so sometime later, the horses came back, but they came with the wild horses. They all followed them. And then they shut the gate and they had twice as many horses. So the neighbor came over again. He said, wow, what good luck. You have so many horses. And the man said, oh, good luck, bad luck, who knows? So the son started to try and train the wild horses. And one of them jumped up and crashed down and broke the boy's leg. And the neighbor came over. He said, oh my God, what bad luck. Your son's leg is broken. And the man said, oh, good luck, bad luck, who knows? And then there was a war that broke out in the area. And all the young men had to go to war except this young man because his leg was broken. And the neighbor came over again and said, wow, what good luck. Your son doesn't have to go to war because of the broken leg. And the man said, good luck, bad luck, who knows? So it's such a small and insignificant story, but so realistic, right? Things happen in this world. We don't know whether it's good or bad. But here we see the pure devotee has a certain mentality. When we see Prabhupada's own example, that there were so many reversals or seeming reversals in his life. Right? Srila Prabhupada, his chart, from what I understand, said he would be a very rich man. But there was so many circumstances that happened. And his business failed. His employees ransacked his business another time. Anyway, he could never do what he had thought would be his way to go, which was to make a lot of money. And then with that money, go to the West and fulfill the mission of his spiritual master to preach in the West in English. So he could have said, oh, God, this is ridiculous. I'm trying and my business is failing. So I just give up. You know, Prabhupada could have given up very easily. But that wasn't the plan somehow or other. And then he started in Jhansi, right? It seemed like the perfect place. He was already basically out of his family life. He had a beautiful building, just perfect for his preaching. He had a disciple there. Things were looking up, and then all of a sudden, the building got turned over to some woman for some kind of women's association. And that, I mean, I can't imagine that would be very frustrating. But Prabhupada, he didn't give up. He just went on. He trusted Krishna's plan and he moved on into the future. So when he finally, it worked out, he'd gotten the books printed, he translated, he gotten the books printed. He was 70 years old, basically. He got free passage after fighting with Sri Morarji for the free passage to America. He got free passage on a cargo ship. And he started off to America. But was it easy? No. Prabhupada's trip wasn't easy. He had seasickness a lot, so he couldn't even write in his diary. He had 2 heart attacks. Can you imagine having 2 heart attacks on a boat with seasickness? He just didn't give up. We have some small thing happen and we're like ready to throw in the towel. Oh, this just isn't working. Or why is Krishna doing this? Or I'm so surrendered. But Prabhupada, look at the man. Look at the saint. He's crossing the ocean with nothing but books, no money. He's 70 years old. Who would do that? Only a saint. He didn't want to not follow the instruction of his spiritual master. So he surrendered. And he just kept going. And when he got to America, what did he do? Did he say, "Oh, Krishna, I've had enough of your plan. I'm going back to Vrindavan and just live my life. I'm happy there. I can get my rotis and I'm at the beautiful Radha Damodar temple. Heck with this trip to America." No, what did he do in the Boston Harbor? He gets to the Boston Harbor and he writes a beautiful poem, right? "My dear Lord Krishna, you're so kind upon this useless soul, but I don't know why you've brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. But I guess you have some business here, otherwise why would you bring me to this terrible place?" You know, Prabhupada considered America a terrible place. And if we look around, the habits and the way of life, it's very degraded. Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion. Absorbed in material life, they think themselves very happy and satisfied, and therefore they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it. But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible, because you are the most expert mystic. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? Oh Lord, I'm simply praying for your mercy, so I will be able to convince them about your message. All living entities have come under the control of illusory energy by your will, and therefore, if you like, by your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. The words of the Srimad Bhagvatam are your incarnation, and if a sober person repeatedly receives it with submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message of the Srimad Bhagvatam. Right? And he goes on. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and most fallen. Therefore, I am seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or a failure, as you like. That is just such a surrendered statement. He's come all the way to America, and he's simply, with head bowed, telling the Lord, you can make me a success or a failure if you like. O spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So if you like, you can make me my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel gladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance, O Lord, make me dance as you like. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. Signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami on board the ship Jaladuta, Commonwealth Pier, Boston Harbor, September 18th, 1965. I mean, really unimaginable humility and surrender. But the common person, or even the new devotees, we're neophyte devotees. I mean, maybe some of you are pure devotees, and I'm sure there's many pure devotees in our movement, and we're so fortunate to have this wonderful movement of ISKCON, the great association. It's just like a tidal wave, right? Way back in the beginning, it was so simple. There was no books, a few Back to Godhead magazines, maybe one book, Prabhupada's original Bhagavad Gita, Macmillan Bhagavad Gita. There was no festivals. There was, the biggest festival we had at the time was maybe Janmashtami, where we cooked a few things, and maybe there was 2 guests coming to our little tiny temples that were scattered here and there throughout the world. Our big thing was when someone got a letter from Srila Prabhupada. And if you look in Prabhupada's letters, there are so many. Prabhupada wrote so many letters, just hundreds of letters. I would write to him and he would write back personally. I had about 7 letters from Srila Prabhupada until he was doing so much that other people would write back. But he was just it was so simple. Our big thing was, Govinda Dasi getting a letter, or Gursinder getting a letter from Srila Prabhupada. And there was no internet. It wasn't like you could push a button and listen to a lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave in 1977 or anything like that. And to communicate back and forth, there was just snail mail. And the temples, everyone had a telephone, not like an iPhone where there's messages in WhatsApp and there's Facebook Messenger and you're getting messages from people all over the place. Nothing like that. Just the temple president would maybe call the LA temple president and get some update on something. There was no Ratha Yatras. The first one was at small San Francisco Ratha Yatra. It was just so different, but so empowered. Like Prabhupada says in his poem, if you empower me, and then you can make me dance however you want. So this is how things evolved. Things are so easy now on so many levels for Krishna consciousness. We really have no excuse to not engage as much as possible in our spiritual life. I remember Prabhupada said, because Gaurasindar had Prabhupada's Chaitanya Bhagavat, I think it was, where Prabhupada, one of his books that Prabhupada was translating and doing the Chaitanya Charitamrita from. And so we heard pastimes of Lord Chaitanya before anybody else did, because Gaurasindar had some of Prabhupada's books and Gaurasindar was a scholar. So in one of the, I don't know if it was a purport, I don't know where it was, Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya said, meet every man at his door and tell him everything you know about Krishna. So in my naivety and innocence of youth, I was probably 20, 21 maybe, I would do that. I would go picking flowers. That was my big service. I'd walk around for hours in the neighborhood and ask people if I could pick flowers. So I would come back with just like a little bag of flowers. But everyone I met, I would tell them everything I knew about Krishna. It was so simple. So in our neophyte position, we want to be careful how we judge the difficulties that come our way, right? And we see the poor, materialistic minded people of the age. They're crazy. So they don't know how to handle life. Life is very difficult. In this age of Kali, death can come at any moment. Calamities. My son has had some bad teeth that he should have been taken care of, probably. But he called me, said, my face is swelling. And he came and showed me. I said, okay, we got to go to the dentist. No, not right now. Anyway, we ended up going to doctor's urgent care to get penicillin. And he felt it and he said, no, I could see it could be from a tooth, but this is more than that. He said, I want you to go to Reynolds Hospital and get a CAT scan done. He said, it's too hard. An abscessed tooth is generally the fluid is soft. So we went there, and did it stop there? No, it didn't stop there. They took his blood, naturally, and said his hemoglobin is at 5, which is dangerously low. And they started doing blood transfusions. And then they ambulanced him over to the biggest hospital in West Virginia, Ruby Memorial Hospital. They sent him by ambulance. And there I am sitting there. It's like, wait a minute. I was just supposed to go get him some penicillin. So he goes by ambulance. I go home, pack. I go to Morgantown, hour and a half away. And there he is in the emergency. By that time, it's night. And they're giving him intravenous and they're giving him blood. I mean, it just went on. And he ended up being there 5 days. They did a major oral surgery. And the doctors all said if he hadn't come in, he could easily have died. Easily. It's just like, whoa, wait a minute. This is, everything was fine in the morning. And then all of a sudden he's got a swollen mouth. And then it leads to a hospital visit for a week. You just never know. So we have to keep our mindset that, of course, there's going to be, like Kunti said, let the calamities come again and again. There's calamities again and again, right? So, but Prabhupada had the right mentality. And like it says in the verse, right? That the pure devotee has a certain mentality when things happen. So that's what we're trying to learn. But nowadays, the materialistic people, they're suffering so much. They don't have these examples. They don't have these teachings. They don't know what's happening. Why is this happening? And then because of their poor fund of knowledge, they don't know how to react. So recently, there's this young man, I think his last name was Kirk. Anyway, I just happened to see it when we were in the hospital. Here's this young man, and he's doing some, I don't know exactly what he was saying. I know he had, part of it was about God, but he had certain opinions. But he just agitated the wrong people. But instead of them saying, oh, this is Krishna's arrangement that this person is preaching all this nonsense or whatever, let's just shoot him. So some young person ruined their whole life and shot him, killed him. He was also a young man, 31, with a family. It's like this lack of knowledge and understanding on how to think and how to act is a great cause of a lot of the mishap in our world. People their only example is what they see on TV. So I noticed when I saw a clip of the there was one man, when it happened, he was cheering. Like, here's somebody shooting a young man for saying the wrong thing, and he's cheering. Like, okay, what kind of mentality is that? It's like heartbreaking. And then you know the young man's life is ruined. He's ruined his life. Very sad, this lack of knowledge in the world. And you can see this is Krishna's mission, right? He sent Prabhupada. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj told Srila Prabhupada, if you ever get money, print books. Prabhupada printed books. That's what he did. Distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. Why? Because it helps awaken the heart and mind of these many innocent persons in this world. They don't know how to think. All they see is these foolish politicians with their attitudes. Just disgusting, so many of them. And then you have the common person reacting like this with violence. And then you see on the media, the movies and the cartoons for kids, even so much violence. The reactions are beat them up or hurt them somehow or other, or, just weird. There's no direction. The society's like a headless society. And these books are meant to give them direction. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says upaharyan. This word indicates that a devotee knows what is what. He understands what is happening in the material conditional life. The conditioned souls are basically bewildered by the material nature. They don't know what is good for them, what is bad, what is to be done, what is not to be done. They're just totally bewildered. So in Bhagavad Gita 16:7, those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, nor proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. In 18:30, Bhagavad Gita, O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. We are pushing forward to find the position where we understand how things are working around us and what we are to do. So we see that our advancement in Krishna consciousness is not really a matter of rules and regulations, right? The rules and regulations are there. Our direction, nectar of devotion, so many rules and regulations. Prabhupada started with rules and regulations. No illicit sex life, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. So what are the rules and regulations for? To hinder our pleasure? Are they there to stop us from having a free life and a good time and being happy here? No. The rules and regulations, they're to help us form our life in such a way that we can get closer to Krishna. We're trying to, Prabhupada called it International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We're trying to change our consciousness. The world right now is full of a very low, people with a very low consciousness, right? At the hospital, they had an incredible cafeteria, just incredible. But of course, being a devotee, it wasn't incredible. because there was hardly anything there to eat. You know, I went down to check out because Abai had teeth pulled. He couldn't chew anything. So I went down to see what he could eat while he was healing in the hospital. You know, they had potato soup, they had tomato soup. The potato soup had chicken in it, chicken broth, right? It was like, fortunately, they had two cafeterias. One was like room service. Their potato soup didn't have chicken broth in it, neither did their tomato soup. But you know, it was probably from a can. Anyway, it was the consciousness of the people is quick, quick, let's eat quick, right? The cafeteria was full of all kinds of chips, potato chips and Fritos and Doritos, and they make like a million kinds of chips. Are they healthy for you? No, they're not. They're very unhealthy. They're deep fried. They've got all kinds of powdered spices. They're just not good for you. I mean, they because the consciousness is low of the people, they don't see deeper even into the material life, how to be healthy, right? Fortunately, and I have to say, Krishna's amazing. He's just amazing. The first night, there was a devotee that lived about a half an hour away, and he invited me to stay there. So I did, but it was such a long trip, and I had to be back at 7 in the morning, and it was dark. So it was scary for me to drive on a route that I didn't know following the GPS on a back road. So anyway, then I got a hotel near the hospital. And as soon as I walked in, there was an Indian man, of course, behind the counter. It was a cheap motel, cheap $70. And the first thing I saw was Prabhupada's books on his counter. And I said, "Oh, Prabhupada's books." He said, "Yes, yes, I have all cases of Bhagavad Gitas." Anyway, we got into a discussion. So that's where I stayed that night. And then one of the devotees from here said, "Well, there's a couple that lives near the hospital." And they gave me the number. And these devotees, young 31-year-old devotees, doing their PhDs, both doing their PhDs. They're from Nepal. They work at the hospital part-time. They had me stay at their house. They cooked for me. They cooked special soup. She cooked special soup for Abai, blended fresh vegetables and all. It was just like it was so made it so easy. Krishna was so kind. Just anyway, so Prabhupada's example is like a guiding light, right? He depended on Krishna, but he surrendered to Krishna. His poem, he didn't present himself as a devotee. I'm your devotee. I've come all the way across the ocean. I know so much. I've been studying so much. Just so humble. I what did he say? One second, let me go back to that. I have no devotion. This is Prabhupada's poem that I just read. I have no devotion. He's talking to Krishna. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta, and now, if you like, my Lord, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. How amazing is that? That someone could think like that. We don't know how to think. The pure devotees are showing us how to think. Look at Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Saranagati, his poems, his songs. He presents himself as almost like a demon, right? And we can think of ourselves as pure devotees. Oh, I'm so much better than everybody else. Yes, they've been around a year, but look at me. I've been around so many years. It's it's so against what what we should be doing. And this is the value, or one of the values, of studying the teachings of the pure devotee, especially Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada came to us. He came at this time, in this world, the way things are. And then we have the sages in our movement. So many great souls that have read and studied these books and the teachings of Prabhupada and the other great teachers of our line. And they are repeating and sharing with us so much to change our lives, to change our hearts, to change our habits, to help us pave a way back to home, back to Godhead. Life is so turbulent and things happen. One of my god sisters just passed away while I was in the hospital, right? She was battling with hepatitis C. She was just working on getting a liver transplant. Things were looking up. And just like that, she was gone, just like that. And her poor family, her son is living in the eco village. He flew here about a week ago to help her get better. She was in the hospitals, and it was a matter of diet that she needed to get strength to be able to do the liver transplant. And he was going to hire someone to help her and this and that. And then all of a sudden she's gone. Just so unexpected. We can expect the unexpected in this life. We can just expect it. This time is full of difficulties, and we can expect it. And we also must deserve it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be getting it. So we're in the process of learning how to surrender to Krishna, how to become a pure devotee, right? We're a work in progress, as they say. They say diamond in the rough. We're a diamond in the rough. We're working on polishing ourselves so that we can become qualified to pray to Krishna the way a pure devotee prays. We're still in the neophyte stage, most of us. My dear Lord, please help me with this. My dear Lord, please give me that. My dear Lord, please help my family. My dear Lord, give me, give me, give me. I want, I want. Prabhupada didn't pray like that. The great souls don't pray like that. We need their instructions. We need their association. ISKCON is full of wonderful things, wonderful association, wonderful literature, wonderful pastimes and festivals and parikrams and prasadam, and it does have an effect on people in general. Doing tours at the palace, such a nice opportunity. You can preach. Not everyone is receptive, but if you're kind of sensitive and can try and pick up where people are at, sometimes they can just appreciate the fact that New Vrindavan is so beautiful and we're doing so much to, for the outside, we have a beautiful place, even just something simple like that. They get some appreciation, right? Very important. Not everyone is going to want to hear a verse from the Srimad Bhagvatam or the Bhagavad Gita. They're not ready for it. Prabhupada himself showed that. with some people in the park or on the beach, he would just greet them, right? That was his way, that they greeted him nicely. He didn't tell his students to run up to them and start quoting Bhagavad Gita, right? And we see during our day, when the devotees first became devotees, a lot of them were going home telling their parents they were like demons, they were eating meat, and it really didn't work. We have to get people to appreciate and love us and respect us. And then maybe one time when I was in the hospital having my daughter was 2.5 months early, and I was in the hospital for weeks. And somehow or other, I was distributing books, I was preaching to doctors, distributing prasadam. Somehow or other, it worked well. So opportunities are there according to our abilities and our situations. And we never want to give up when things get tough and think, why is Krishna doing this to us? We want to understand that even someone like Prabhupada, who's on Krishna's mission, is facing reversals and difficulties, but his example of how he deals with them are so helpful in our lives. I don't know what we would do without Prabhupada's example. Without Prabhupada and ISKCON, where would we be? Right? Where would we be? Could you imagine living a life without Krishna consciousness, with just work, family, TV, movies, football games, TJ Maxx? What would we do? We'd go shopping a lot. We'd spend a lot of money unnecessarily. We wouldn't care about other people. Our charity inclination would probably be almost zero, right? We're so blessed. Prabhupada said in the beginning, the only reason someone leaves this movement is by mistake. They make a mistake and leave. That's why it's important. When Prabhupada, I'm sure I have the letter, but when Prabhupada had written me, if you have questions, ask somebody. And if you can't get the answer, write to me. So our Shiksha gurus, our associates, our spiritual teachers, spiritual masters are there to help guide us. They're not there just to throw flowers on and worship them as if they're some kind of deity. They're there to help us in our personal journey. And we need to consult with devotees when we have questions or difficulties. I was so happy because I posted on one of our apps, and all these devotees, oh, we're praying for Abhay. We hope things go well. Let us know if we can do anything. Krishna's, whatever. They were saying different prayers and different blessings, and such a benediction to have the association of devotees. So we want to become good association for them also, caring about them, helping in their times of difficulty. It gives everybody strength, and it's easy to get into ignorance or into darkness in our path back to Godhead. Why is this happening? What does this mean? Is Krishna punishing me? Why is Krishna punishing me? It's like sometimes we need help to get enthusiasm back to go on our trip back to home, back to Godhead. And that's what Prabhupada created ISKCON for, the association of devotees. And that's what we have, a wonderful movement. So we thank Srila Prabhupada for coming to America, for writing and tirelessly translating. And we thank so many hundreds or thousands of devotees who have helped us on our path by keeping ISKCON going, by printing books, by running temples, by running Zoom calls. Anyway, we offer obeisances to all the assembled devotees. And that's why we say the prayer Vanchakalpatrubhasya. It is to recognize the surrender and service from all the other devotees that make our path so much easier. So I think I'll end there. Anybody there?
Thank you,
Please accept my
Mataji.
humble obeisances.
Thank you,
Oh.
Mataji.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I did give a class one time and lose everybody.
Mataji, thank you. Mother Jayashri, thank you for such a good, wonderful nectar today morning. It was really nice to hear you. Actually, I'm in office, but still I was hearing you. So it was really, peaceful to hear such wonderful, pastimes and like Prabhupada's pastimes. So it was really, all things what you shared. Only one thing, if you could please explain again. You mentioned about Charlie Kirk, who was shot dead recently. Uh, so you mentioned about the person who killed, and obviously he suffered his family. So in spiritually, in our Krishna conscious way, you mentioned something, but I could not hear properly. So what? Either of them, like maybe it is Kirk or maybe the person who shot him. So what what would have been their way if they would have been Krishna conscious, or uh, spiritually what they should have done?
Well, I mean, if someone speaks something that you don't like, it's not like he was threatening people. He was just like an inspirational speaker, and he was God conscious on a certain level. So but I think from what I gathered, I didn't look into it a lot. I just know that he would say very confrontational, no. I can't think of the word that I'm searching for. He would say things that people would not necessarily agree with, like the Bible was against gay people. And from what I gathered, he said they should be punished, or, the Bible says this, and the Bible says that. And, I mean, it's true, there's a lot of discord in our world with all this same-sex marriages and gay people, and people, they're just lost. They're just lost. We hear in the Bhagvatam when Lord Brahma was creating, that he created a certain mentality of people. Okay, but that doesn't mean that they're to be punished. And he was probably against guns and stuff too. I don't know the details, but it doesn't matter unless someone is attacking you or attacking somebody, then violence is absolutely necessary, and the devotees should act. Prabhupada himself, I know that there was an incident, and I was looking for it. I should have asked Malati, where someone was either physically hurting one of the ladies. The Prabhupada picked up his kartals and was swinging it at the man. You know, he was protecting his disciples. There's a time. I mean, look what Krishna inspired Arjuna to kill. Just these guys are not going to surrender. They're not going to do the right thing. I don't want them in charge. You kill them. Kill them, kill them. I mean, that's pretty heavy. But certainly for speaking, no matter what's on somebody's mind, and no matter how many few thousand of people they influence, you don't shoot them, you know, kill them. So, you know, I consider myself a little Krishna conscious. I didn't like some of the things he was saying. I certainly didn't agree with them, but I didn't wish him harm. You know, he had two small children and a wife. He was 31 years old. And he's trying to become God conscious. He's trying his best at his neophyte stage of devotion to preach about God. So you're going to shoot him? No. You can forgive him, or you can just not listen to him, or you can go, oh, that guy, yeah, he's kind of off the wall. I don't like what he's saying. Maybe he'll make some advancement and, you know, but to kill somebody? It's such a violent society. So much killing. Killing all the trees, killing all the animals, killing. Prabhupada said this is a killing society, simply killing, killing, killing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, ultimately, one has to be, killing human is the uh, most dangerous sin we can say. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for sharing your realizations on this, which made a little bit clear on many things. Also, like our condolences to Mother Maharani. I think you mentioned about the Mother Maharani only who passed away recently.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's all very sad to hear
It
about
is.
that.
Yes, it is. She was a big Sankirtan devotee. She helped build this place. She
Yeah,
was collecting for years,
mm,
thousands of dollars a week, years living in a van. But
yes,
you didn't know her most likely much because once she retired from that service, she's just stayed at home. She
yeah,
just took care
yeah.
of
I know.
herself and family, and that was it.
Yeah, I know from that stage, like she used to stay at home because of her sickness. So, yeah.
Yeah, but even before she was really sick, she was my neighbor.
Mhm.
She'd go to the temple sometimes for a festival or something, but she was um, a recluse almost, you might say. She just didn't want to be in the crowds of, she would read and she would chant her rounds but she didn't want to be in all the action. And not everyone wants to be at a big program or a big festival. Some people like to just stay at home, chant, take care of my deities, offer my food. Some
Mm.
people have that mood. Okay, anything
Thank you
else?
so much. Sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for this wonderful class early in the morning and all your personal experiences. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
You're welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a nectarian class, Mataji, and starting our day in such a nice way. Thank you, Mataji,
You're
for
welcome. Thank
all the
you.
pastimes from Prabhupada's life and your sharing your personal experiences. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry my classes are so elementary. But, that's where I'm at.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Mandalat Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you for your
Krishna.
question. And I'm really, I was very, very happy to hear about the incidents of your son and how you got help with prasadam and, how
It
Krishna.
was amazing. Just
Yeah,
amazing.
amazing. You went to a place where there was Prabhupada's books and how the connection was made, it seems as if like Krishna is like a father taking care,
I
uh,
know.
very, very amazing. And then, of course, like you also mentioned, what would we do without Prabhupada? Because, like, we would not have understood that Krishna is our father if Prabhupada had not told us. It would have been
Right.
a very impersonal, no connection, Atma Paramatma, no connection, no chanting. And I really like that song you sang in which he says, I'm here, make me dance, and I'm a puppet, and I just have faith in the holy name. So Prabhupada saying this, that he is not having faith in Krishna, but he having name in the holy name, makes it so much clear that there is no difference between Krishna and the holy name. The poem
Right.
is
Right.
depicting that. So I'm amazed hearing these lines that I'm surrendered on the holy name. So how much in 1968, 65, when Prabhupada came, like right now we are trying to assimilate this by hearing, that yes, Krishna is not different from a holy name, and still we forget, and then we don't chant attentively. But Prabhupada at that age, at that time, was so Krishna conscious.
Yes.
It's very, very, so many things are so much on the transcendental and upper level that when I hear this, I get so touched, and I feel that we are so fortunate. I don't know what good karma I'm saying for myself I would have done that I'm associating here, and we are always looking for, like, generally on weekends, the karmi people, or I don't know whether I should use this word, the people who are not Krishna conscious, they're making plans to, go here and there, enjoy. So we just making plans somehow the other Sunday, of course, go to temple. And then hopefully there's a nice program on Saturday, then we can have more kirtan and some home program with devotees, nice prasadam, That's
Right.
our enjoyment. That's our enjoyment.
Right.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada was alone.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. He was alone with his books and his beads.
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, like one small thing, like Nikunjras Prabhuji mentioned about whether he said or you said that Mataji, who left, we pray for her soul that it can reach the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Radha and Krishna. We pray for her. Like she was basically on her own, and it's not like she wanted to be in the limelight, so to say. So,
Right.
but sometimes what happens when we see our own nature and we feel it's okay, we can go once a month, or in twice a month once. But at least for myself, I need association. I need to we recharge our cell phone now and then. I need to recharge my spiritual battery, myself. So for me it is very difficult to not go, and because I'm not coming from a background where everywhere around here, except for my my mother chants, my daughters, of course, yeah, my elder daughter is initiated and married to a devotee, but my younger one is a special need. But then my husband is very favorable, but I'm not in an environment where my every family member is like Krishna conscious.
Right.
So then, like, of course, I'm with them for the whole week, with other, my sister and all, who are just not believing at all in Krishna consciousness, but they, I have to associate with them now and then. So for me, like, it's not possible to, so what would you suggest? One should look into one's nature, and then, make sure that we kind of make sure that we decide on that, whether we should associate more or just be by ourselves. And because like in Krishna consciousness, it's so nice that even if we don't go to temple for 6 months, we can still chant our rounds on Sunday at home, we can still read at home. But what is the criteria for this, if you can answer that, Mataji?
I don't think there's any hard and fast rule for that. I'll tell you about our plumber here.
Hmm.
He's initiated devotee of Srila Prabhupada. His name is Teja Maya. And he has been the plumber for New Vrindavan for probably 45 years or more. And you never see him at the temple. Never. He never lives right down the road. He does all of our plumbing work. You never see him at the temple. His wife is not, like you say, she's a favorable person, and they've been married for probably 45 years. She's a nurse. Her name is Kelly. So you never see them at the temple, but whenever you see Tejo and he's working, he's probably almost 80 years old. I don't know how he's still doing what he does, but he's up on a backhoe and he's digging 10 feet under the ground to get to our water pipes because they're broken. He's got to change them. I mean, he does massive things. The other day, he personally, with machines, cut down all the huge trees around our gas source. It's a cylinder. It's a huge, huge gas cylinder. It's right above the apartments where I live. And he did it himself. But if you ever are close where he's working, all he's doing is chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna help me, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. That's all he says. He's always absorbed in his relationship with Krishna.
Yes, I
So
agree,
it's,
Mataji.
yeah,
Tejo Prabhu, I really had a really good association with him whenever we saw him. Like we used to meet outside of the temple and we felt that we are meeting a senior devotee, like that was
yes, yes.
it was never like, but I know, like I never saw him in the temple, but around the temple every time.
Yeah, the
Yes.
only
Hare
time you'll
Krishna.
see him is if there's a memorial for one of his old friends, one of the older devotees that he knew. But
Yeah.
Krishna consciousness and me, I go to the temple every day. I'm up at the temple several times a day just to walk around and chant my rounds and see Krishna and
Yes.
go into the store and everywhere you look is Krishna. Everyone's different. And according to one's nature, one is going to surrender and learn and make advancement. I mean, that's my opinion. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, that's why we know more.
Thank
We know you more, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing, Mataji, this because, I mean, everyone has got different propensities, right? Like, I wanted to share a small little thing. Like, I have moved from one home to the other. And my husband was telling me that, in this home, it's a new home. Don't put Krishna's picture everywhere. Sometimes he says like that. Every room, there should not be a Krishna picture. Just have like an altar and then that's place you put the picture. So the altar was not set up. It took some time, like everything. And the whole house is like an empty wall. I was so lost, I didn't know what to do. So I'm putting around this calendar with the tape, because it's a new home. And I was trying to put the tape. So at least Radha Krishna picture. And I keep the Delhi temple, Shishi Radha Parthasarthi, I always get the calendar because I kind of connect with, sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm in India. So I put that calendar. The moment I put Radha Krishna's picture in the room where I'm staying, I felt enlivened. So, I felt, wow, like, picture is there. Otherwise, the somehow, like, I've seen a lot of devotees have a lot of pictures of Krishna. Like, it's like we need some kind of a reminder, because we are weak and we need association of devotees. We can't just, on our own. But of course, he's the Prabhuji you mentioned is a Prabhupada disciple. And, he's on a different level altogether because disciples, they met Srila Prabhupada. So they have that. But for this thing, I just need Krishna's picture, devotee, something or the other. Otherwise, I get lost in the material world. I just want to mention that. But thank you, Mataji, so much for the wonderful class. And, sometimes we are not in a position like, I mean, sometimes my husband will tell me that, keep the house as a house. It's not a temple. And then, when I come to the temple, they say, make your house your temple. So I don't know what to do. So I just I just mentioned this first time here because, he says like, in his religion, Sikhism, they believe that there's one place where you sit, you do your puja and all that. Not everywhere it's happened. Even the book, they worship the Guru Granth Sahib. But your books and Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is lying all over the room, on the bedside, everywhere. So it's so different, like, but only thing is, I'm so happy that he's favorable. He will say in a tone where he mentions that, like, it's according to his religion, it's insult, that you have everywhere, like pictures and all, and then you feel scared. They feel scared of having Krishna's picture everywhere. So sometimes they live in fear also, some people who are, not. But Prabhupada has given us this Krishna consciousness, which is, you have, there is so, like you said, so many bad things are happening. But you become fearless when you're with Krishna. Whether there's a picture of Krishna in front of you, whether you are speaking on the phone, you become fearless that time. Then again, when you're on your own, alone by yourself, again, it becomes scary with your mind. So, thinking all kinds of things other than Krishna. But yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. But I'm really feel fortunate that me and my family, we are blessed because even if like my husband, like I can't go with my husband to a temple and he wear like a dhoti and all that, and then we visit different dhams. But at least for a future generation, for my daughter, they are picking it up, and that is all I wish for, because Krishna is the one who will make anyone devotee. It's not in our hand. So I just wanted to share a little bit. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I have a question. Haribol Mataji.
Yes, I'm here.
What inspired you to join the Krishna consciousness movement at 1920 and year 19 and 20 years you were talking about, Mataji?
What inspired me? Well, I was on a quest for God, and Krishna made the arrangement that I would meet Srila Prabhupada, and he was by himself, and he sat with me for some time, and he answered all of my questions that I like, deep spiritual questions, and just from meeting Srila Prabhupada, it was like meeting someone that I'd been looking for. I mean, if you read Radhanath Swami's book about the journey home, it's a similar thing with most of the devotees that met Srila Prabhupada or had, there must have been something in the past life, because when we met Srila Prabhupada, it was like, oh, this is it. This is what we were looking for. This is a person. And so I just,
so
that
awesome.
was it. Yeah, it was just kind of a natural sequence.
Because for us, I mean, we've been getting this knowledge all around, and then for you, it is, I mean, for senior devotees like you, Mataji, it is very difficult, right? The environment is totally new, and I would love to hear how what inspired and you all, and it's really, really amazing. Another question I have, Mataji, is what do you like to do most, Mataji? Is it like a kirtan or a japa or reading books? What's your favorite thing, Mataji?
Yeah, I don't think I have a favorite thing. I mean, when it talks about the activities of devotional service, the hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping, serving, Prabhupada in the explanation says either one or all of these activities can lead one to perfection. So, some people are scholars. They read a lot. They don't worship deities. Like Radhanath Swami. He's so knowledgeable. And he doesn't, I know, I was hearing from Indradumna Swami on some lecture or something, and he was saying, I asked Radhanath Maharaj why he doesn't have Radhanath Swami doesn't have deities that he worships. Indradumna Swami has deities that he worships every day, and he has a paraphernalia, and he gets things from different places. And he said, so what is your deity? And Maharaj said the holy name. Everyone's a little different.
Right.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Oh, I don't
Hari-
have
That
a
was
favorite.
really perfect message what we got from your class, Mataji, today. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
yeah, Hare Krishna.
Holy name.
Very nice, Mataji.
Sharing
Thank
that.
you so much.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's such a wonderful thing you shared, because I don't have DTs at home, because our food, there's no non-veg, but there is onion garlic I have to cook for my husband because he likes, and it's not like purity is there, but yeah, it's vegetarian, of course. But the point is that I don't have DTs at home, just picture altar. And I personally feel that like I don't have DTs, but after hearing this, I feel that my attachment is more to the holy name. So when DTs will come, it's okay with time, but or maybe I'm not ready, I'm not very regular in my seva. But thank you once again for sharing this, because yes, I know there are some, even Gopal Krishna Maharaj, His Holiness, who passed away, he was like so much into DT seva. And
Yes, right.
I used to feel that even there's a thing when he's sleeping, he's like giving offering. And I was thinking that I don't have DT, so how will I follow in the footsteps of Maharaj, our Prabhupada's disciples? But then, like you gave a wonderful answer. Thank you to Prabhuji who asked this question, that everyone has their own inclination.
Right.
Yes, Sandeep, probably got the right message today because of your question. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. And also, like, one line I wanted to add here is, like, I heard, Mataji, that like whether we do DT seva or whether we do clean the bathroom or whatever we do, maybe we can't do DT seva, we're not second initiated or whatever situation is there, but Krishna accepts, our Guru Parampara accepts our services, all of them. So we should not feel, oh, the person is in the altar doing seva and we are cleaning the floor. So all services are accepted. So that's so wonderful. Thank you,
Well,
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
that was one of the things I was going to say, is it's not the activity as much as the consciousness. If someone's sweeping the floor thinking, I'm cleaning, this is Krishna's house and I'm cleaning it, my family is Krishna's property and I'm taking care of them, and someone might be on the altar at the temple just waving the incense around thinking of the next movie they're going to watch. It's the consciousness that somebody does things with.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, I need to go.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanutram. Thank you so much for this nectar class. And as always, sharing memories with Srila Prabhupada and Ranath Maharaj's story. That was so wonderful that we don't know what is the fortunate, unfortunate for us. So it's a very big lesson. And nice to hear about that. So, and nice to see you also, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much. Hare
Let's say
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much for
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavatam.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Patitaram
Krishna.
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavebhyo namo
Anand
namaha.
Koti Vaishnavi
की
ki
जय
jai.
दास ठाकुर की जय
Ki
की जय
jai.
प्रपात की जय जय
Jai.
माता जी की
Jai
जय
Shri
जय
Jai.
थैंक यू माता जी
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा
Krishna.
हरि बोल
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.